All right, today we're talking about GameStop again. Looked like we got a lot of views in that first video, so let's follow up. So I talked about the monthly RSI for GameStop and how we were very close to a massive support. And if you actually look, like going back to 2007, we've seen massive RSI coiling on GameStop. Like if we're just looking at GameStop and not thinking about any other macro points or other stocks, which I mean, in my mind, I can definitely think of a few stocks that have similar setups as we head into 2026, which makes me really excited for 2026. To me, I mean, this implies there's going to be either a huge move to the upside, and we use that as support right there with the third touch, or massive move to the downside. Currently, if we were to enter a position right here, and it's not financial advice, okay? But if you were to take a position right here, I mean, to me, the highly logical position to take would be to the upside. Because if you lose that support, and this is on the monthly time frames, this is very high time frame, guys. Very, strong support, in my opinion, when you go to the really high time frame stuff. It would imply that you'd be favoring going long rather than going short. If you want to go short, wait till it loses support, guys. I mean, again, not financial advice. Want to be clear. But if you're looking to go long, it doesn't get much better than this. And now this is just one view. This is just the monthly RSI. I also wanted to pull up these charts. Instead of me charting in real time, like I did in that first video, I'm just going to probably do the charts ahead of time. Just kind of walk you guys through what I'm seeing. So this is not unique to GameStop. The symmetry that you see in this chart, and this is a linear chart, this is common. This is what you see on many charts. You'll notice I connected the top to the bottoms, okay, and I extended it out at that angle. So the angle you're seeing, that expansion angle, is just based on primarily really these bottoms right here. You can see how it respected like the 50% line right there with that candle wick. By the way, this is also monthly time frame, so this is December 2021. Tag that 50% line perfectly. All right, this one kind of ended in no man's land, so it's not always going to be perfect, but there isn't one singular view. You can actually see here too, like the light gray line that splits these was respected back here all the way back in 2007. So, and then you even get, again, it comes into play here cleanly in 2013. So there's no coincidences in how the market makers do these macro moves, like these high time frame macro moves on any chart, including GameStop. It is no exception here. So that's the linear. Now, what does it tell us based on where we are currently? I mean, where we are currently, it looks like, honestly, if you were to kind of split this last quarter, something like that, it looks like we're basically in between, this last quarter, which has a really wide range, by the way. So like what I'm doing right now is just really zoomed out. I'm not trying to do day trading or anything like that. I don't think most people get ahead day trading. Actually, I know for a fact it's like, a few percentage of people, like maybe 2-3% get ahead day trading. And it's really just, don't think of it as like you can't beat the market. Think of it as the mechanics of losing versus winning. If you lose 50%, then you need to make 100% just to get back to baseline. Think about that. Anyways, the range here for this month currently, December 2025, is 28.86 down to 14.24. So extremely wide range. We're currently right at like maybe a little bit above the 50% mark. So what is it really telling us? This view, I don't think is telling us much other than, again, if you want to go long, that the highest you would expect to go this month, realistically, would be up to $28.80. Above there, and I wouldn't expect that to happen in December, but if you had like an insane breakout starting in January, the highest you'd probably expect it to go is $43, and let's just round that up to like 44, and that would be right here, again, in this midpoint. So guys, again, none of this is random, you know what I mean? And it could go higher, theoretically it could go higher, of course, but like if it were to depart from that midsection, the next would be this quarter, which is at 58, and then up to like 74. That was a linear chart. Let's look at the log chart. I have two log charts that I prepared. So, and I essentially did, just so you understand the expansion angle, we looked at this low back here in 2003. We connected this one to the 2012 low. It came into play again here in 2016. Came into play again here in December 2022. So that's the expansion angle currently. It's based on that, and then I extended it upwards and downwards. So if we look where we are currently at, again, a little bit of no man's land. When that's the case, it's hard for me to, just using these charts, have a strong bias to the upside or the downside, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like that monthly RSI is telling me, hey, this would give me a bias to the upside. So that's one factor. Again, the monthly RSI being at support. But, these two charts that we've seen thus far, to me, are kind of hanging out in the middle of no man's land. The upside bias for, and this is, again, a monthly chart, would be to, and on this is a separate view. This is a log view, 27.75. Downside, if you really think it's going to lose that support and sell off, first macro target would be 16.55. And if you ask me, like if you're an investor who's doing swing trading, or you're trying to day trade, like you would want a pristine setup off of, like you would need it this is just me speaking, not giving financial advice, just showing you where my head's at. You would want like a high time frame RSI hitting support, and that to coincide with like the actual price action on some of these symmetrical channels to also have met support at that same time. Like if there's like an internal checklist, like I want to only be trading like pristine 10 out of 10 setups in a perfect world. I don't think this one's really tradable. Again, though, my bias would be to the upside based strictly off of the monthly RSI support. And the first upside target, again, this is a monthly chart, would be up there at 2760. It closed this past week at 2123. So decent upside potential there. This is just another log chart. Now, I told you the previous expansion angle was me taking that low and connecting it, I think this way. Was that what it was? It was, yeah, I connected it through the 2012 low. So that was, yeah, right there. So the previous expansion angle was like that. This is a more aggressive expansion angle. So if you're a big GameStop bull, this takes that 2003 low and connects it to the February 2021 top. Now in TradingView, it has that top being at like 120. I know there were data sources that had it much higher, but let's just go off of what's available in TradingView. This is probably my preferred way of viewing GameStop. And this actually has like, you know, more upside potential cooked in. But you can kind of see these lanes, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like lane 4, we're in lane 4. That's the most bearish lane, I would say. If we're to jump back up into lane 2, we need to get price back above, you know, $37 above there. It opens the door to 125 and then to 480 up here. Okay. And above there, you're looking at all this. And if you ask me for being honest, like what is GameStop going to do to get up there? I liked it when they said they were going to be a Bitcoin treasury company and have some exposure to that asset class. I don't know what happened with that, but it didn't sound like it went the way that people expected it to. And anyways, I don't worry as much about the narratives. I just look at the charts. What it's telling me where it currently sits is that if it loses that monthly RSI support, and this is weekly time frame, all these other charts we looked at were monthly. Your downside bias would be down to, you know, $10.80. You know what I mean? That's this line, and below there, the next downside bias is back to like the below $4. Okay, so if you think that's in the cards, again, just me personally, I would not enter trades until it loses that support. And then if you're upside bias, you know, the targets are 37.55, 136, and then 487. You know what I mean? I'm just basically showing you like this level, this level, this level, and I'm thinking in terms of like that. Although that's probably a little bit rapid too. Like that took us out to June 2026. If GameStop does pop in June though, I mean, your bias is going to be that it goes up to like 500. And it's basically it, you know. I think if there's any real actionable takeaway, it's that it is at the high time frame support on the RSI.
What would it be worth to you to get access to my trade alerts that are based on high time frame, high probability setups in the charts and momentum oscillators? You'll also get access to me to request new charts or updated existing charts. And we're going to establish high time frame price targets that could be either to the upside or the downside. I then set up automated alerts in TradingView, and Market Symmetry Pro members are alerted immediately when they trigger. So if that sounds like something that would benefit you and your trading or investing, I look forward to seeing you inside.